Nah, forget the Xenomorph, forget the facehuggers. After episode 6 of Alien Earth, there is one creature that has officially cemented itself as the most calculating, intelligent, and downright terrifying threat in the entire series. And it's the one you've probably been underestimating, the Trypanohyncha Ocellus. There is a moment in every great horror story where the threat evolves. It shifts from something that is simply dangerous to something that is intelligent, something that understands. The unknown is terrifying, but the known, a conscious, calculating malice, is paralyzing. For 5 episodes, Alien Earth presented us with a gallery of horrors. The classic Xenomorph, a perfect engine of destruction. The mysterious, metal-devouring fly. But in the chilling final moments of episode 6, the show pulled back the curtain on its true masterpiece of terror. And it wasn't in the form of a slashing tail or dripping acid. It was a single, unblinking eye. The Trypanohyncha Ocellus is not the strongest creature in the Neverland facility. It is not the fastest, but after the events of The Fly, it has proven itself to be, without a single doubt, the most intelligent. And in a world where humanity's arrogance is its greatest weakness, a smart monster is infinitely more dangerous than a strong one. What we witnessed was not a random act of animalistic aggression. It was a meticulously planned and executed assassination. To understand the depth of its strategy, we need to break down the scene moment by moment, because every single action was a deliberate step in a brutal plan. First, the Ocellus established its environment. It had been contained in that lab for days, possibly weeks. In that time, it wasn't just sitting idle, it was observing. It learned the routines of the technicians, it learned the schedule of feedings, it mapped the weaknesses of its own enclosure. Most importantly, it studied the other specimens. It watched the fly alien in its cage directly opposite. It understood the fly's nature, its corrosive projectile, its metallic diet, its lethal potential. The Ocellus wasn't just a prisoner. It was a general, surveying its potential army. Then, the opportunity presented itself. Toodles, one of the powerful synthetic hybrids, enters the lab alone. He is distracted, frustrated by a broken feeding mechanism. He is not a threat in that moment. He is a variable. And the Ocellus, from behind the glass, begins to calculate. It doesn't act immediately. That's the first sign of its higher intelligence. It waits. It waits for Toodles to position himself perfectly, leaning against the very enclosure of the fly while he tries to repair the mechanism. In that moment, Toodles is perfectly balanced, perfectly vulnerable. And then, the strike. Not a frantic, enraged charge. A single, precise, and calculated headbutt from the sheep it controls. The force isn't meant to shatter the glass. It's meant to startle. It's a psychological weapon more than a physical one. The sudden noise and impact caused Toodles to jolt, to lose his balance, and to stumble backward through the open door of the fly's cage. The door, designed to lock automatically upon closing, seals shut. The trap is sprung. The Ocellus didn't need to break its own cage. It didn't need to possess a soldier. It used the environment, the technology of its captors, and the predictable nature of its victim against him. It identified a tool, the fly, and used it as a weapon. It turned Prodigy's own facility into the instrument of Toodles' destruction. This is a level of tactical thinking we have never seen in the Alien franchise. The Xenomorph is a force of nature, beautiful, perfect, and brutal in its efficiency, but it operates on a primal instinct, to hunt, to kill, to propagate. The Ocellus operates on a primal instinct to win. There is a cold, terrifying intellect behind that eye.
It doesn't just want to escape, it wants to dominate. It doesn't just want to kill, it wants to conquer. The show itself has told us this. Earlier episodes and the official supplemental material have explicitly stated that the T. Ocellus possesses near-human intelligence and a unique, psychic-like method of control that doesn't just puppet its host, but fully replaces its consciousness, seeing and learning through it. It's not a parasite, it's a usurper. So what does this mean for the final act of the season? If this is what the Ocellus is capable of while contained, the fact that it is now loose within the Neverland facility changes the game entirely. The corporate war between Weyland-Yutani and Prodigy is no longer the main story. It's just the opening act. The chaos of that conflict is nothing more than the perfect breeding ground for the Ocellus's real strategy. Here is what we can logically expect, based on its established behavior. Its first priority will be to upgrade its host. The sheep was an excellent disguise. Who would suspect a docile farm animal? But it is a tactical liability. It is slow, weak, and obvious. The Ocellus will now be seeking a host with greater utility, opposable thumbs, higher strength, and access. It will be looking for a soldier, a scientist, or a technician. But the most terrifying possibility of all is that it will target a synthetic. Imagine for a moment if it could somehow interface with and control a being like Kirsch. All of his physical power, his knowledge of the facility's systems, his access codes, but now piloted by a ruthless alien intelligence. That is an endgame level threat. It wouldn't just be an escaped specimen, it would be the new head of security. Secondly, it will continue to leverage the other aliens. It has already demonstrated its willingness to use the fly as a weapon. It will likely see the Xenomorphs in the same light.
Why fight your enemies when you can unleash a perfect organism to do it for you? Wendy may be trying to form a bond with the Xenomorph, a connection based on a strange empathy between two rejected beings. But the Ocellus doesn't want a connection. It wants a tool. It could orchestrate a Xenomorph breakout directly into the path of the Weyland-Yutani assault team. Not to help Prodigy, but to simply clear the board of both sides. Finally, we must consider its endgame. Escape is too small a goal for a mind like this. The Ocellus doesn't just want to leave Neverland. It wants to own it. It wants to reshape it. Its method of reproduction is still a mystery, but if it can spread its consciousness to multiple powerful hosts, it could effectively create a hive mind. Not a biological hive like the Xenomorphs, but a networked one. A silent, invisible takeover where you can't tell who is human and who is a puppet until it's far too late. It wouldn't just invade a planet. It would become its government, its military, its infrastructure. It is the ultimate silent invasion. The sheer, chilling genius of Noah Hawley's creation is that he has given us a villain that doesn't just challenge the characters' bodies, but their minds. The Xenomorph is the monster in the shadows. The Ocellus is the monster that controls the shadows. It is a cerebral, psychological threat in a world of physical horror. And that makes it the most formidable adversary this franchise has seen in decades. As we move into the final episodes, the human conflicts will become a footnote. The real war will be between two types of intelligence: the flawed, arrogant, and divided intelligence of humanity, and the cold, singular, and ruthless intelligence of the Ocellus. The question is no longer who will survive, but what will be left of them if they do.